In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister works with U.S. ASEAN Business Council. And State Bank of Vietnam gathers proposals to stabilize gold market. In our world news, EU leaders ramp up EU's defense capacities at Brussels summit.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyền Trân with the top stories. The Central Committee of the Communist Party of Vietnam, or CPV, has sent greetings to the Central Committee of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party, or LPRP, on the occasion of the LPRP's 69th founding anniversary, March 22, 1955 to 2024. On this occasion, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng sent flowers to Lao Party General Secretary and State President Thongloun Sisoulith. Chairwoman of its organization commission, Trương Thị Mai, did the same to permanent member of the LPRPS Central Committee's Secretariat, Vice State President Bun Thong Chimeni, and head of the LPRPS Central Committee's Organization Commission, Sisay Ludet Munson. Meanwhile, Chairman of the CPV Central Committee's Commission for External Relations, Lê Hoài Trung, also cabled greetings message to his Lao counterpart, Phóng Savang from Phie. At its 6th extraordinary session held in Hanoi under the chair of National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ on March 21st morning, the 15th annual Parliament considered the relief of Võ Văn Thưởng from the presidency of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam in the 2021 to 2026 tenure and from the post of a National Assembly Deputy of Da Nang City. Legislators also listened to the National Assembly Standing Committee's report on the relief of Trần Tuấn Anh from the post of a National Assembly Deputy of Khánh Hòa Province. They also considered the dismissal of Hoàng Thị Thúy Lan from the post of a National Assembly Deputy of Vĩnh Phúc Province. After listening to the reports, proposals, and a speech by Võ Văn Thưởng, the legislature discussed, conducted a secret ballot, and adopted a resolution on the relief of Võ Văn Thưởng from the presidency of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam in the 2021 to 2026 tenure, and from the post of a National Assembly Deputy of Da Nang. The National Assembly also adopted a resolution on the dismissal of Lan from the post of a National Assembly Deputy of Vĩnh Phúc Province. Vice State President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân assumes the position of Acting President of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam from March 21, 2024, until the National Assembly elects a new president. An announcement of the National Assembly Standing Committee read. Issued on March 21st, following the 15th National Assembly's 6th extraordinary session, announcement number 765 of the National Assembly was made on the basis of the Constitution and relevant legal provisions. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính had a working session with the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, or USABC, and 60 leading investment funds and businesses in the U.S. on Thursday in Hanoi. This is aimed to deepen the comprehensive strategic partnership between Vietnam and the U.S. and realize agreements that the two countries have reached.
At the meeting, U.S. businesses appreciated Vietnam's increasingly improved investment environment and thanked for the support of the Vietnamese government, ministries, branches, and localities. They affirmed to continue to invest and expand investment in Vietnam. Particularly, Pepsi will invest in 2 new factories using renewable energy in Hanam and Long An with a capital of nearly $400 million
in Vietnam, and we've discussed these matters with your ministers already. And you mentioned your visits to the United States. Many of our companies, including Meta, want to thank you for stopping and visiting with them during your very successful visits to the United States.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh praised the U.S. business community for assistance with the development of Vietnam and relations between the two countries. He emphasized the spirit in cooperation between the two sides, which is mutual listening and understanding, sharing vision and actions to develop the economy and bilateral relations. And work together, enjoy together, win together and develop together.
Through this work, I've noticed that both sides have shared, understood, and trust each other better, cooperated more closely and effectively, and been more responsible to each other. Those are a crucial foundation for both sides to realize investment projects and cooperation plans, bringing benefits for both countries.
The Prime Minister said that Vietnam is implementing 3 strategic breakthroughs, including perfecting institutions, developing infrastructure and training human resources, and promoting administrative reform to reduce costs and enhance product competitiveness. Underscoring the principle of harmonious interests, shared risks, he called on U.S. businesses to expand their presence in Vietnam and actively transfer technology, especially high-tech solutions related to the digital economy, climate change response, green transition, and knowledge-based economies, while renewing traditional driving forces such as consumption, export and investment. He also urged U.S. enterprises to support Vietnam in perfecting its institutions, improving its governance capacity, and training high-quality human resources.
Vietnam welcomes and encourages investment in high-tech and semiconductor industries by providing appropriate mechanisms, incentives, and modern infrastructure, said Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính. He made the statement at a reception in Hanoi on March 20th for the Group Vice President of Global Operations at Lam Research, one of the leading U.S. semiconductor manufacturing equipment providers, and representatives of the Celgene Company of the Republic of Korea. In Vietnam, the companies are planning to collaborate to develop factories and establish a supply chain with an investment of $1 to $2 billion in the first phase. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính highlighted sci-tech and innovation as important cooperation areas in Vietnam's comprehensive strategic partnerships with both the U.S. and the Republic of Korea. He pointed to Vietnam's efforts in training a workforce of 50,000 to 100,000 engineers by 2030 to meet the demand of enterprises. In the spirit of harmonizing interests and sharing risk for mutual development, he expected that both companies would focus on research and development activities, technology transfer, thus helping to develop a robust semiconductor ecosystem in Vietnam. Receiving Mr. Hoa Liu, IAEA Deputy Director General in charge of technical cooperation programs on March 21st afternoon, Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang welcomed IAEA's cooperation program in the fields of health, agriculture, and energy industry in Vietnam. The Deputy Prime Minister said that nuclear power is an area that Vietnam is focusing on in order to realize its commitment to reduce net emissions to zero by 2050. As a result, he hoped that the IAEA would continue to support Vietnam in building policies and providing technical safety advice and human resource training in the nuclear field. The Deputy Prime Minister affirmed his commitment to fulfilling obligations and contributing responsibly to international treaties to which Vietnam is a member in the nuclear field. Cao Xá Station in Hải Dương Province will be converted to an international intermodal rail station at the end of the next month. The first shipment from this station to China is expected to be transported before April 30th. The conversion of domestic rail stations to international intermodal stations has helped increase cargo output, reduce logistic costs, and improve competitiveness for Vietnamese goods.
Cao Xá Station is being renovated and expanded to prepare for international freight forwarding. The project is over 80% complete and is expected to be completed before mid-April.
All road vehicles can directly load and unload goods, including agricultural products, bulk goods and container goods without any intermediaries. The yard here can handle large-sized goods.
Hải Dương Province has strengths in agricultural products and electronic components. The upgrading of Cao Xá to an international intermodal station is expected to increase the efficiency of import and export of goods compared to road transport.
This station is located near large industrial parks such as Đại An, Tân Trường, Phúc Điền, and Tiền Kiều. These are industrial parks that have a large import and export volume. The province also has great potentials of agricultural exports.
The international intermodal model has been deployed at Cap Station in Bắc Giang Province and Song Thần Station in Bình Dương Province. According to Vietnam Railway Corporation, international intermodal cargo in the first 2 months of this year grew positively.
Businesses highly support international intermodal transport by rail for agricultural products, especially seasonal products exported to China, as product quality is usually affected due to congestion during road transport.
The railway sector aims that by 2030, the annual international intermodal transport output will reach 4 to 5 million tons, which is 4 to 5-fold the current figure.
SJC Gold was bought at $2,655.64 per ounce and sold at $2,722.88 per ounce on Thursday. Currently, SJC Gold bar price is about $504 per ounce higher than the world gold price. After the Prime Minister's dispatch to strengthen gold market management, the State Bank of Vietnam has completed the gathering of opinions about Decree 24 from ministries, branches, and experts. Many proposals have been made to effectively manage the gold market.
The State Bank of Vietnam will consider abolishing the SJC gold bar monopoly mechanism. It is also proposed to apply specific tax rates to gold bar trading activities.
Benefits and disadvantages of removing this monopoly mechanism should be reviewed. I propose the Ministry of Finance complete the legal framework to limit tax collection from gold businesses and have specific tax rates.
Building an intervention mechanism when there is a difference between domestic and world gold prices is also one of the proposals to effectively manage the gold market.
There should regulations on the difference between domestic and world gold prices and policy for the intervention mechanism.
The State Bank of Vietnam will consider proposals from ministries, branches, and experts to supplement and amend Decree 24 for early implementation in order to manage and stabilize the domestic gold market.
Coming up next on VTV News. Border soldiers help poor families build new houses in Cao Bang Province. And a field trip enlivens local history class in Điện Biên Province. Welcome back to VTV News. In November 2021, Cao Bang Province was chosen as the first locality for the implementation of a national project to eliminate temporary and dilapidated housing for poor families. Over the past 3 years, local authorities and border soldiers have made joint efforts to renovate and rebuild nearly 6,000 dilapidated houses for the poor. Our report in Trung Khánh District, Cao Bang Province.
Thui's family is now living in a new concrete house thanks to border soldier support. As one of the poorest households in Cha Linh town, her family had never thought that they could afford to repair their dilapidated house.
Thanks to border soldier support, our lives have improved. We have a new house to live in.
Trung Khánh is classified as a poor district in Cao Bang Province. Reducing poverty in such a remote area has never been easy. So far, the district has logged nearly 5,000 households. Despite difficulties, border soldiers at Cha Linh border guard station visited each household and made a list of families eligible for the government support. 29 party members were deployed to provide support for 133 families in border areas.
We deployed border soldiers to each village and household. At the same time, we also worked closely with local authorities to provide support for poor households and families under the government's preferential treatment policy.
In 2023, border soldiers in Chaling Town provided material and financial support for eligible households, helping poor families rebuild a new home.
The local party committee and the border guard station have coordinated closely to eliminate dilapidated houses and rebuild new house for poor families.
Thanks to the effective implementation of the project to eliminate dilapidated housing for poor families in Kabang province, border soldiers and authorities have built trust in local residents as their joint efforts transform the lives of poor families.
A proposed project aims to support the technical infrastructure for low-emission rice in the Mekong Delta, with an anticipated budget of about $375 million. This proposal is based on the government's initiative to cultivate 1 million hectares of high-quality, low-emission rice, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. The funding for the project will be derived from a $360 million loan from the World Bank, with the remaining $50 million coming as counterpart capital from the government and localities. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development will lead the project, which will be executed in 12 provinces of the Mekong Delta over a period of 5 years, from 2026 to 2031. The project aims to design and deliver a comprehensive, smart investment package to help farmers adapt to climate change and increase their profits. It will also support small producers in adopting low-emission production practices. The Mekong Delta region is predicted to experience significant saltwater intrusion over the next 7 days, following the full moon tide period of the second lunar month. The peak of this intrusion is expected from March 24th to 26th. The salinity level is projected to reach 4 grams per liter, a level that makes fresh water unsuitable for daily use or production. This intrusion is expected to penetrate 40 to 60 kilometers into each main river. Notably, on the Vam Co Dong and Vam Co Tây rivers, saltwater could intrude up to 70 to 90 kilometers. Additionally, due to unusually low upstream water levels and strengthening winds, saltwater may penetrate an additional 5 to 10 kilometers. Therefore, localities in the Mekong Delta should promptly update hydrometeorological forecasts and take proactive measures to prevent and combat saltwater intrusion. Over the past 5 years, a dedicated individual in Ho Chi Minh City has been actively developing solutions to reduce plastic waste. In addition to producing clean products such as shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, shower gel, dishwashing liquid, and a floor cleaner from vegetables and fruit, she has set up green stations to help curb the disposal of plastic bottles into the environment.
Consumers can simply pour shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, dishwashing liquid, and floor cleaner directly into their bottles. The price is calculated by weighing these bottles.
I have just refilled the floor cleaner. This is a clean and green action that should be replicated among young people for a better lifestyle.
Phạm Thị Kim Hằng has spent the past 5 years working to change consumer habits and reduce plastic waste. One of her many initiatives includes establishing green stations where individuals can exchange empty bottles for full ones.
We recently organized a campaign to collect advertising banners in retail stores, which resulted in the collection of nearly 4 tons of materials.
All these cleaning products are made from Vietnamese agricultural products, such as avocado, coconut, soybean sprouts, soapberry fruit, mugwort, lemon, lemongrass, and ginger, among others. Kim Hằng is committed to incorporating local elements into the products with the aim of introducing them to global markets in the near future.
Green products have become a significant global trend. I recently worked with a Swedish delegation visiting Vietnam, and green growth and green initiatives were the focus of discussion.
At green stations like this, Kim Hằng conducts regular workshops teaching individuals how to create their own soap, shower gel, and face cleanser from fruits and vegetables. She even includes activities where participants make soap blindfolded in the dark. This is done to foster a better understanding of visually impaired individuals who make up the majority of her staff.
The complex of the Điện Biên Phủ battlefield, featuring 45 relic sites, has remained nearly intact over the past 70 years, becoming a favorite destination for Vietnamese and foreign tourists. It serves as a tangible link to the past, allowing visitors to connect with and understand the local history. To provide insight into the Battle of Điện Biên Phủ, a local school took students to the historical sites, helping them understand and appreciate the values of peace and freedom.
Hill A1 is one of the key relic sites on the Dien Bien Phu battlefield. These students were taken here to attend a history class without a textbook. Although they were born in Dien Bien Phu city, this is the first time they have been taught about the local history through a field trip. Visiting historical sites allowed students to connect with the past, moving beyond just reading names and dates in textbooks.
Today, I studied history in a new way. It makes me better understand about the history of my homeland.
Visiting historical sites and meeting veterans allow students to imagine what life was like back then. Field trips will help students better understand and remember historical events.
At the Dien Bien Phu Victory Museum, students had a chance to admire one of the world's biggest panoramic painting that reenacts the Dien Bien Phu victory in 1954. The painting makes the past feel real and vibrant.
I was touched after listening to stories told by veterans. Vietnamese soldiers sacrificed their lives for the peace, prosperity, and happiness that we have now.
The more students study history, the more they will appreciate the sacrifice of our ancestors and become more aware of their responsibility to preserve and protect their homeland.
Historical trips offer students an unparalleled educational experience. While immersing themselves in the stories and events that shape their homeland, students can better understand the values of history and nurture a sense of national pride and patriotism.
Coming up next in our world news, EU leaders ramp up EU's defense capacities at a Brussels summit. And a gloomy youth pulls US down in a global happiness ranking. Now moving on to our world news. European Union or EU leaders met on Thursday in Brussels to seek solutions to the establishment of European resilient defense industrial ecosystems as the EU aims to reduce its defense reliance on NATO. This issue has become even more urgent as the 2024 United States elections are scheduled to be held on November. EU leaders feared that the US may hesitate to ensure the security of Europe under the NATO treaty. Poland, France, and Estonia jointly called on the European Commission to mobilize new financing for defense projects across the EU, emphasizing the critical need to bolster the bloc's military and defense capabilities. Meanwhile, Finland, Germany, and the Netherlands are still considering this proposal. 14 EU countries sent a letter to European Investment Bank or EIB officials to call for more efficient funding of defense projects. The EIB's current policy forbids it from investing in weapons, ammunition, and military infrastructure. "12 miners were killed and 8 rescued after an explosion in a coal mine in southwestern Pakistan, officials said on Wednesday. According to Balochistan Province Chief Inspector of Mines, the bodies of the dead were all recovered as the rescue operation ended. He said 20 miners had been inside the mine when the explosion took place. The injured were taken to the hospital. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in a statement expressed his grief over the deaths. Pakistan's mines are known to have hazardous working conditions and poor safety standards, and deadly incidents are not uncommon. Australia on Thursday unveiled plans for a minimum tax of 15% on multinationals. According to Treasurer Jim Chalmers, multinational companies making a profit in Australia should pay tax on those profits in the country. The new rules had already been flagged, but the legislation could have a significant impact on the world's largest mining and energy companies, and is likely to face opposition from powerful industry lobbies. They built on a global effort to stop big companies from tax jurisdiction shopping. Australia is one of the world's largest exporters of coal and gas, and the largest producer of iron ore, a mineral that is essential for making steel. Rising unhappiness among younger people has caused the United States and some large Western European countries to fall down a global well-being index, while Nordic nations retain their grip on the top spots. According to the annual World Happiness Report, the U.S. dropped out of the top 20 for the first time due to the big drop in the sense of well-being of Americans aged under 30.
The U.S. has fallen out of the top 20 happiest countries to live in for the first time ever. Researchers say this is driven in part by a decline in how Americans under 30 feel about their lives. Spring breakers in Miami Beach were generally happy due to their location, but also mentioned the stress of inflation and that being the cause of unhappiness.
I've definitely seen people that have been happier than me for sure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that that goes on different in their lives and everything, and we go through different solutions and like all this and like all the time, so definitely people have been happier than me for sure.
Well, but it's by the water. I think because of how expensive it is to live now, and a lot of people depend on like their financial situation to make them happy, and it's the struggle when you don't have the financial stability to like live.
Well, I think inflation has, made a lot of people struggle more, so that can be true, but I don't know. A lot of people want to come here, so I don't think it's too unhappy.
Social connections are one key factor contributing to these generational disparities in happiness.
I'm a minority in general in a lot of things, not just, my color of my skin, my cultures, but also just, I'm homosexual. There's only been recently a lot of more push towards acceptance of this, and a lot of us have been on the outcast and the outskirts of society in terms of acceptance.
The age gap in well-being is also wide in Canada and Japan, and to a decreasing extent in France, Germany, and Britain, which all lost ground in this year's rankings.
Now, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app at VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel at VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.